full screen, hopefully. Good. So a warm welcome to each and everyone. Thank you for joining this keynote. I would have preferred sitting with you together in Malaysia, because when I visited your country 2 years ago, I really fell in love with it. Unfortunately, the pandemic still forces us to stay at home and to stay safe. So the COVID-19 pandemic has led to enormous social and economic consequences all over the world, as most of the countries are still struggling with themselves in order to create new economic possibilities and labor market recoveries. We often forget that other countries are struggling as well. Therefore, it might be interesting for you bridging the gap and seeing the bigger picture. That is why I'm bringing some maybe helpful and fruitful information about the struggling with the consequences of COVID-19 for gender equality in Germany, but also within the European Union. To better understand my arguments, it seems worth introducing you to the central paradigms I'm working with when dealing with gender issues. As a sociologist, I'm pretty interested in connecting the micro level of individual behavior to the structural macro level, what means social, political, and economic developments. Both levels influence each other. That is what we should never forget. Especially with regard to gender equality, this has to be kept in mind. Neither can gender disparities be reduced when focusing only on political strategies, nor can individuals achieve gender equality when they are not supported by their governments or global political strategies. In addition, this is why a systemic approach that is often used for identifying conflicts between different social systems is not suitable, in my opinion, when talking about gender issues. Gender is deeply connected to individual perceptions, as Simone de Beauvoir already stressed in 1949. One is not born, but rather becomes a woman. Vice versa, this is of course also defines males. It is the society or culture who decides what attitudes are defined as female or male, and society consists of individuals interacting with each other. Therefore, when analyzing gender issues, I'm mostly working with the so-called structurations theory developed by Anthony Giddens. For a long time, gender specialists all over Europe praised the development of gender equality until the beginning of COVID-19. In fact, the COVID pandemic mercilessly revealed the vulnerability of females with regard to job losses, their economic situation, and time spent for unpaid care and family time. In fact, we had to learn that during times of crisis, females much more than males are affected by outstanding situations. UN Women has developed an impressive number of research dealing with gender and COVID-19. So the following table shows you some facts, but let me name a few more. The number of people living in extreme poverty is estimated to reach 96 million this year, most of them females. Women and girls are especially hurt by the resulting economic and social fallout. Impacts on women and girls have worsened all over the world. Women are losing their livelihoods faster because they are more exposed to hard-hit economic sectors. According to a new analysis commissioned by UN Women and UNPD, by 2021, around 435 million women and girls will be living on less than $1.90 a day, including 47 million pushed into poverty as a result of COVID-19. But the impacts are not just economic. Violence against women has increased around the world, as widespread stay-at-home orders force women to shelter in place with their abusers, often with tragic consequences. More people at home also means that the burden of unpaid care and domestic work has increased for females. Women and girls in communities already reeling from institutionalized poverty, racism, and other forms of discrimination are particularly at risk. They face higher rates of COVID-19 transmission and fatalities. These worldwide developments have also hit the EU and Germany. A look at the following table shows the high female dominance as so-called frontline workers. Within the European Union, those frontline workers dominate the care and sales sector. And you can see from the table below that in Germany, the gender gap between employed males and females is still high. Frontline working means different things. Being in the center of COVID-19, doing mostly shift work, and belonging to low-income groups. Although the working times of these frontline workers within the EU nearly doubled since the beginning of COVID-19, only few of these working groups got so-called bonus payments, and mostly because they're females. These working sectors are often lacking minimum wages and social protection, for example, by workers' unions. The corona pandemic proves within the European country, the female-dominated work fields still are less socially recognized and less protected than other work fields. A major improvement was seen in establishing telework or home office since the beginning of COVID-19 in Germany. Leading politicians in Germany declared it as the one best way to reconcile work and family duties. The next table shows you what really happened. Unfortunately, this table was only available in German, but I will explain the most important facts. The German researchers here concentrated on families with two partners, what means the traditional family model, and they asked, who is doing family care work in different work ranges? Both partners had the possibility to do telework or home office. So what happened? On the very left side, you can see what happened when both partners worked full-time. So this is here. So when both partners are working full-time, they could share care responsibilities, one might think. And in fact, you can see that there is an existing gender gap, but with regard to all the others, it is not that big. So one might think when both partners are working full-time and they are sharing care work, this could improve when both partners are working part-time. But what happens? Here on the next, you can see the gender gap is widening when both partners are working part-time. And it is even wider when both are unemployed, as you can see on the here on the third one. So we are still searching for explanations in Germany because when both partners are working part-time, they need a very high income to lead a life related to their needs. So both partners working part-time means high income, and high income in Germany is still related to high educational background. But also within the first group, both partners working full-time, we have high educational background. So education seems to be no real indicator to estimate why partners are not sharing care work equally. So we're still searching for explanations. But what about those models who belong to the most vulnerable family models. So let's have a look at the situation of single mothers as a last step. Let me give you some examples of my own research. During the first lockdown in Germany, I did some research about the situation of single mothers in the state of Saxony. About 95% of single parents in Germany are single mothers, as Germany still relies on a traditional role model, what means that most mothers want their children to live with them. Therefore, a quantitative study has been developed in order to analyze the situation of single mothers. By using different indicators of work-life balance and social inequality, the study could identify significant changes in the financial, psychological, and physical situation of single mothers, as well as negative impacts on the parent-child relationship. So just to name a few results, and you can see it here on the table what happened. So regarding the job situation, single mothers are more affected from job losses and low income situation because they are working in low income jobs or as freelancers, or they are self-employed to have enough flexibility to reconcile work and family. On the other hand, females in Germany often work in areas of care and education, as shown on the table above, work fields that need a lot of overtime work since the beginning of the pandemic. The income situation, as a result of COVID-19, single mothers who have suffered from low income before the crisis had to face an income decrease. Especially the spendings for homeschooling have hit those single-parented families hard, and especially those with more children. So those who are self-employed or worked as freelancers had to rely on their savings, as nearly no incomes could be generated. As a result, social inequality sharpened. Children living with single mothers were much more affected by the negative effects of homeschooling and could not participate in digital education than other kids did, what means that the educational gap in Germany definitely has widened. The stress factors of single mothers have definitely increased during the pandemic, as the table shows, and this is especially worrying. It is worrying because we need a lot of professional help, and we have to ensure that the well-being of children living with those single mothers is guaranteed. And that is not really easy, even in Germany. So as a last step, we could discuss what has to be done. And I have a few suggestions. Maybe you have more. So the care work done by females during the COVID-19 pandemic has to be monetarily valued. In a rich country like Germany, and there are other rich countries within the European Union, this definitely needs to be done. We have to discuss about the monetary values of unpaid care work. Childcare institutions like kindergartens and even schools have to be reopened. What means in Germany, schools and kindergartens have been closed now for 1.5 years. Single mothers and other families need those institutions to protect their children, but also to be able to be employed and to gain money for their families. Special tax reductions for families, especially single mothers, need to be made. We have certain tax reductions in Germany, but we need further. Low-income jobs need to be socially protected. So we need for all those frontline workers minimum wages, and we have to reduce the gender pay gaps. And this is closely related to new political strategies within the European Union, but also in Germany. And the governments within the European Union need to stimulate packages for those sectors which have been hit hard by the COVID-19 shutdowns. So I hope I'm not running out of time, but thank you for your kind attention. Yes, so at the moment I'm not, okay, so this was my last slide. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Nina Weimann-Sandig, for a very insightful delivery. The best part of going virtual, we can be 1,000 miles apart, but still be able to share knowledge from the heart. Thank you.
Hello, Prof. Nina. Norizan here. Yeah, and I'm glad I'm able to meet you online. Yeah, after several conversations in our WhatsApp. We know that it's already 8:30 in the morning. Hopefully we don't actually we had some communication at night, but it's actually morning in Malaysia and you are resting, so we apologize for that. So it's very interesting what you have shared just now related to the single mom. I think similar thing is also happening here in Malaysia, where the single mom are the group that is actually hardest hit by the pandemic. And for families who are actually having a woman as the breadwinner, we are also looking into the social security. How can we learn from Germany? Assistance given by perhaps your government or perhaps NGOs and other industries to help the single moms. If you would like to share that further.
Yeah, a very good question, Norisan, because I'm really worried about the situation of single mothers all over Europe, but especially in Germany, because in my opinion, they're kind of forgotten group. So the whole governments are talking about families, but not of particular family models. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when they introduced home office solutions, they did not think about the challenges women have to make when they are trying to work and care for their children. And single mothers, for them, it is really impossible to reconcile work and family. So as an expert and advisor to the government, I'm really struggling because in my opinion, it would be necessary to reopen the childcare institutions and to let those children from single mothers enter those childcare institutions, because we have professionals, they can protect them, they can care for them, and we have enough health system to protect them from COVID-19. But the kindergartens and childcare institutions are still closed. Hopefully they will reopen in June. So I think NGOs and political advisors should advise all the governments to invest into more childcare solutions. We need institutionalized childcare, and we need a concept of reopening. This is, in my opinion, this is the most important thing. Would help the single mothers to concentrate on working, to gain income, what is absolutely necessary, because as I know from Malaysia, it is the same here in Germany. Most of the single mothers belong to the low income group. They are suffering from poverty also here in Germany.
Is that about working from home and also getting the women to be involved in digital economy? In Malaysia, we feel that to have one gadget per family, it is not adequate. The reason is that the children need to access the online learning. The mothers also need to do online business. And by having one hardware per household, it is still not enough. Even though we are grateful, we have the free internet data plan given up to 1 gig daily. However, that in terms of the hardware, it is still limited. How is that in Germany?
It's pretty the same in Germany. All the families are lacking from hardware. Yeah, no, this is for all families models. We had those problems, especially families with more than one child. So having 2 or 3 children means that there have been no hardware solutions for homeschooling. The children had to share their tablets or computers or something like that. And with regard to the single mothers, the problem was even worse because they didn't have the money to buy the computers. And during the first lockdown, the children from single mothers could not take part in homeschooling. So after 3 or 4 months, the government decided to give them a financial support to buy the needed computers or what they needed. And the situation has improved a bit. But the fact is, the group of single mothers here in Germany, most of those women are working in shift work, what means they cannot stay at home. They are frontline workers. They need to go out and they cannot look after their children when they are doing homeschooling. So what happens? The children are not doing homeschooling. They like to relax. Yeah. And so the educational gap definitely widened, and we have no idea what to do with these children because they are no longer encouraged to participate in school. And we need to develop certain strategies, political strategies to encourage children from families belonging to poverty groups, low income groups, children from single mothers to take part in school activities as soon as the schools are reopening. And we are hoping that schools are reopening at the end of June here in Germany. So we are still having homeschooling at the moment.
Thank you, Prof. Nina, for the elaboration. How about the others, if you have any question?
Ladies and gentlemen who wish to ask questions for our Professor Dr. Nina, you may unmute your microphone to speak.
Hi, good morning, Prof. Nina.
Good morning.
I'm Zulaikha here. Welcome, nice to see you. Just asking, because of your country is one of, is real developed country. The country give any, support in terms of, monthly or any initiative to this group of people?
Yeah, so it took a while, but the self-employed people in Germany got financial support. But this depends on the income situation of the whole family. So if you have a traditional family model with 2 partners and one partner is employed and the other partner is self-employed, the family didn't get money, yeah, because you have one income. When both partners are self-employed, they got money, and also the freelancers got money. But in fact, nobody knew that the pandemic would cover more than 1.5 years. So they got those financial help one time. And now most of the self-employed, especially those who only the single or solo self-employed people, they are running out of money. So we're really fearing what happens when we're reopening the whole economy, because most of the self-employed will definitely struggling, and we are not sure if all of them will be running their businesses. So the financial help did not protect them. It helped to feed their families, in fact, but not to run their businesses. And this is worrying at the moment.
Okay. Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have more questions?
It is really our wish that Prof. Nina and family is in the safekeeping, and at the same time, yeah, able to be productive even though working at home. All of us are also struggling here in Malaysia. And in terms of vaccination, we just completed the first, I think this is the third round, yeah, where we have to register for vaccination this afternoon. And all the nearly 500,000 doses was actually grabbed within half an hour. So it is all online registration. So the worry here is that for those who are able to register and have the ICT literacy to know what to do, how to register online, they are at the better end. But our worry is there's a very large group of Malaysians who are still not able to register, not because they don't want to, but because all registration is actually online for now. So, well, we have to go through it and we have to assist more, especially the old folks who are 60 years and above. I wonder whether it is also the same thing in Germany for registration of vaccine. Do you have to do it online, and have it been completed, and how many vaccines have been distributed? This is something different.
The first step here in Germany was that we had to register online, and we had the same fears because the illiterate people and those depending to low income groups, they did not register. So because they simply did not know how to do it, and there was no help. Yeah. So another group are the homeless ones in Germany, very vulnerable group. And we have a third group of people who are deeply afraid of the vaccine. So that is mostly people with low educational background, and those afraid people, they hesitate to go to see their doctors and to discuss with them. Now we have a second step. So you can also go to your direct doctors and get vaccinated. So this should help to protect the vulnerable groups. But at the moment, the situation is that we are still have too many people who are waiting for the vaccine. We have not enough. And we need all the people to get the first shot. So I don't know what the situation or how the situation in Malaysia is, but there are about 60% who didn't get the first shot at the moment. So Germany is very slow, I have to say. Yeah, it is very complicated. Yeah, and we should have gone further. So half year, we need, I think, or in my opinion, or the opinion of experts, it will take us the next year to get about 70% or 75% of the people here in Germany to get the first shot. So we are not talking about the second shot, yeah, still the first shot. So it will take a long time in Germany, in my opinion.
Thank you so much.
Okay, do we have others who wish to ask questions for our professor, Dr. Nina? A very golden opportunity to have you join us today. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Dr. Nina, for sharing your words of wisdom and joining us today despite the time differences.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you again online.
Yeah, me too. So stay safe. Goodbye to all of you.
Bye. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite our guest speaker to deliver our next keynote address, I would like to give a short introduction about her. Ms. Sri Husnaini Sofjan currently serves as a program advisor and strategist at Huairu Commission. Ms. Sri serves as one of the 12-member UN Habitats Advisory Group on Gender Issues, and in February 2020 was elected as one of the 3 co-chairs of UN Habitat World Urban Campaign. She has over 25 years experience working on ICT, e-governance, good governance, regional global coordination of cities and women's networks, to managing and programming urban management and gender equality projects funded by the United Nations agencies and government. She was the first chief executive officer of a state-funded women missionary, Penang Women's Development Corporation, from 2012 until 2013. At PWDC, she directed the first state-level gender-responsive participatory budgeting initiative with the 2 local governments, as well as led the development of a childcare policy. In 2006 to 2009, Ms. Sri was the program manager of the United Nations Development Fund for Women, now known as UN Women, in the post-conflict and post-disaster Aceh region, Indonesia, where she successfully implemented and managed the Strengthening Women Legal Rights Project. She gained regional coordination, exposure and expertise working with the United Nations Development Programme, Regional Project on Urban Management and Urban Governance from 1993, as was the Regional Program Manager of UNDP's The Urban Governance Initiative when she left in 2004. At UNDP TUGI, she led the design and facilitation of key programmes and tools with several cities, leading to creation of space for inclusion and participation of urban poor women and their communities in local governance, such as the local-to-local dialogue and platforms, and governance report cards. She also initiated the e-governance project to enhance accountability and transparency with selected local governments in the Asia Pacific. Please welcome Ms. Sri Husnaini Sofjan with her keynote address on gender equality and women empowerment.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah. I apologize that I don't have a video because of the bandwidth challenge where I'm located right now. And so my phone and my laptop wouldn't allow me to, or is not able to upload the video. Yeah, so I apologize very much for that. I hope you are all keeping well, healthy, and are observing the SOP for our collective safety as a nation. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to speak at this important seminar. I'm very humbled by this opportunity to share with you some food for thoughts and action on gender equality and women's empowerment, a transformative pathway for making real progress in the context of the seminar that focuses on digital economy. I also couldn't upload my PowerPoint, a simple PowerPoint, but what I'm going to do in this time that I'm given, how much time do I have, Mr. Moderator? Or, yeah, thank you.
Half an hour.
Do I have? Sorry?
You have 30 minutes, Sri.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So how I frame this discussion, I would like to say like a discussion or sharing, is that I'm going to lay out the link with the My Digital, the Malaysian Digital Economy Blueprint. Yeah, because I think when we talk about this digital economy, that's our reference point, and then go into, you know, why gender equality and women empowerment is important, and go into the some aspect of, you know, why do we need to have a gender audit, and also some ideas for research and partnership agenda in the future, and also sharing what is happening at the global level. Yeah. So I read the seminar general aims, that is firstly to identify the economic well-being factor for B40 women for development of evidence-based solution in digital economy, and that it is also to develop an ICT solution for online business development, which is user-friendly and meeting the needs of the B40 women. I think the organizer of this seminar are very smart and definitely looking forward, have a forward-looking and progressive people for dedicating the first 2 sessions of the 2-day seminar to the topic of empowerment and gender equality. So I congratulate you for this foresight. Now, a seminar on digital economy. Wow, that sounds so technical and very, very high level. To a lay person, one must think, the word digital, that must have to do with computer, information and communication technology, internet, and the word economy is related to how goods and services are produced and the supply and ways of making money or do business. Now, in digesting the term digital technology, and in a very simplistic way, there are 2 dimensions: the hardware, which are the infrastructure, the gadget that is involved, you know, to make it happen, and then the software. Now, the software, there are 2 parts of the software: the system itself that make it running, you know, to make the hardware run, and then the governance of the process. And I'll come back to that. Now, when I reflect back, you know, the terminology digital economy started to merge maybe in the last 15 years or even more recently. I remembered when I was working in MIMOS over 30 years ago. Then it was still under the Ministry of Science and Technology and the Environment. And MIMOS was a research institute then. And MIMOS was tasked as a secretariat to develop Malaysia's first IT policy. And we at MIMOS were challenged to make the public understand, even, I mean, at that time, we had a challenge, you know, to even make the public understand what is internet, when jarring, the first backbone for the internet service in Malaysia, was first introduced. And I was quite involved as one of the planners in MIMOS, the non-technical people working with the DG then. So in one generation, or 30 years, so last February, Malaysia launched its digital economy blueprint, My Digital. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with the content of that document. It's over 100 pages. Yeah. So I quote, Digital Economy Blueprint spells out the efforts and initiatives to deliver the aspiration of My Digital. The blueprint charts the trajectory of the digital economy's contribution to the Malaysian economy and builds the foundation to drive digitalization process across Malaysia, including bridging the digital divide. My Digital is designed to complement national development policies such as the 12th Malaysia Plan and Wawasan Kemakmuran Bersama 2030. Digital economy was identified as the key economic growth area in realizing the Wawasan Kemakmuran Bersama 2030 to make Malaysia a country which is developing sustainably with fair economic distribution as well as equitable and inclusive growth. Now, for this session, when we are talking about gender equality and women's empowerment, I want to take the opportunity to unpack where gender, women, and empowerment are placed in this blueprint and in what context. Let us be open and agree that this is not a criticism, but a concerted effort to work towards the best for our country and opening opportunities to make adjustment if necessary and when necessary. Very simply, when this is what I do when I get a document and see whether it is actually supporting gender equality and whether the policy or the intent of the document is gender responsive. I do a very simple analysis at the first round. I did the word count for these three words: gender, women, and empowerment. Now, in this 100 pages, over 100 pages of document, the word women appeared no more than 5 times. Yeah. On chapter 2, page 35, it appears two times in the context that says that the government has also supported vulnerable groups such as B40 and women to ensure equal success and opportunity to participate in the digital economy. Among the related initiatives are e-Rezeki and empowering women in cyber risk management program. The third time it appeared, the word women is on page, on chapter 3, which is focused on accelerating the digital economy, page 71. In that section, it is on the section of Thrust 5, creating an inclusive society. And it is one of the strategy that is, the initiative aims to provide an the initiative aims to provide a one-stop online platform through integration of existing platforms designated for vulnerable groups such as the B40, women, and people with disabilities to obtain information and resource to grow their online business. Then the next time the word appear is on page 101, the glossary. The word woman is part of the name of the Ministry of Women, Family, and Community Development. Now, what about the word gender? The word gender first appeared on page 39. It is one of the 6 points in figure 2.5, which is on issues and challenges in advancing the digital economy. So the sentence that has the word says, the digital divide among income and age group and between gender needs to be narrowed. Then it appeared again on page 69, chapter 3 on Thrust 5, creating an inclusive economy, a paragraph that says, however, a digital gap still remains across the dimension of income, strata, age, gender, and skill sets. If not properly addressed, this will impede efforts to achieve an inclusive digital economy. Now, I also checked the word empowerment and empowering. So these two words, empowerment and empowering, appeared 16 times. But I will just mention the one that has the context with women. So the one that says empowering or have a context with women is on page 35, which I quoted earlier. And on page 42, which is saying that is under trust 5 on strategy 2, empowering special target groups in the society to participate in digital economy through entrepreneurship. And then on page 69, chapter 3, trust 5, strategy 1, which is increasing inclusivity of all Malaysians in digital activities. It says, ensure digital inclusion by improving digital literacy and empowering vulnerable groups in actively participating in the digital economy. And on page 71, which is related to what I mentioned earlier, also it says linked with the strategy empowering special target groups in the society to participate in the digital economy through entrepreneurship. It says enhance digital technology adoption to empower vulnerable groups. So, as I said, doing the word count is a simplistic way to give a quick overview of intention. And I think, I mean, for me, as a Malaysian, it is quite disappointing. Not once the term gender equality or women's empowerment or empowerment of women was mentioned in the blueprint. Yeah. Also, the word woman have been associated with vulnerable groups. I want to ask you, are women really vulnerable? Or is it the view of the society, the people from the top, that place women in the vulnerable group? Maybe the term disadvantaged or marginalized is more suitable. Now remember, Malaysia has identified through the blueprint that digital economy is a key economic growth area in realizing its Wawasan Kemakmuran Bersama 2030 to make Malaysia a country which is developing sustainability with fair economic distribution as well as equitable and inclusive growth. Is this blueprint gender responsive? Now, let me bring you to a quick sneak to where Malaysia is in terms of gender equality and women's economic empowerment. I don't know whether some of you may have read this, but in a recent issue brief on gender equality in Malaysia, released by the United Nations Development Programme Country Office for Malaysia, Brunei, and Singapore, I quote, Malaysia has made notable progress on gender equality and women's economic empowerment. The economic role of women was highlighted in several places in the 11th Malaysia Plan, Pillar 2, enhancing inclusive development and well-being explicitly acknowledge the need to provide integrated support system and conducive environment to increase participation of women in economic and community activities, as well as ensuring the well-being and resilience of family. Pillar 4, empowering human capital, outline the need to encourage quality employment that contributes to greater efficiency and productivity. Gender inequalities remain persistent in Malaysia's labor market. Women make up half of Malaysia's population, but only 25th of the but only 2/5 of the workforce. Only 55.6% of working age Malaysian women are employed or looking for jobs in 2019 compared to 80.8% of men. And the target in the 11th Malaysia Plan was 59%. As the Malaysian economy continues to grow, it is increasingly important to narrow the gap in meaningful economic participation between men and women. The 2020 Global Gender Gap Report published by the World Economic Forum ranked Malaysia 97 out of 153 countries in terms of economic participation and opportunity for women. Yeah, so that's the reality. Or I mean, you know, if we look at documents and statistics. No, in the study of gender, I want to go back to the blueprint, which is actually a policy document. Yeah, so in the study of gender, it is pointed that no policy is gender neutral. That means everything, every policy, every program have different impact for men and women. So it is important to put the gender lens to ensure that men and women are provided with the prospects of attaining equal power and equal opportunities for financial independence, education, and personal development, you know, and to improve their livelihood in all the policies that the government developed for us, because they are the government that we choose, and they are working for us and supposedly with us. Yeah. So Malaysia certainly still have to do some work in its aspiration to achieve gender equality, though maybe on surface, and this is, I think, many who are quite protective and defensive says that, you know, women in Malaysia have the same opportunities as men. But if you look at the statistic, the numbers, the reality, and now with COVID-19, you know, the number of poor people, the people that are, you know, disadvantaged, the percentage of women in that category has been increasing. Recently, there was this study on urban economy impacted by COVID-19. And it says, and it stated that women, you know, a growing number of percentage of women who fall in this poverty line, below the poverty line. So studies have shown that in many societies, gender equality does not translate into gender equality in technology. Yeah, and we are talking about digital economy, you know, it does not directly translate into gender equality in digital realm and digital professions. The persistence of growing digital skills gender gaps, even in countries that rank at the top of the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Index, demonstrate a need for intervention that cultivate the digital skills of women and girls, and to resource and put them forefront as the, that if they are included, if we focus on them, that's the transformative path for us to make progress. We know the benefit of digital employment, and empowering women and girls to develop digital skills means we will have stronger women, stronger family, stronger communities, stronger economies, and better technology. Digital skill is recognized to be, I mean, now digital skill is an essential life skill required for full participation in society. Whether we want to admit it or not, it is going to be that way. Yeah, almost everybody have a smartphone, you know, the smartphone being smarter than we, the human being. For actually, we should be smarter than a device. Yeah, but anyway, so when we look at this blueprint and we study it deeper, where are we going to get, or where do we see the main benefits for women? Again, I was saying, I would like to remind all of us that no policy is gender neutral. So it's very, very important that we put a gender lens when developing policy. And for this forum, where all of you are researchers, your research become a product that will inform and be useful for developing programs and policies by the government, by decision makers, by policy makers. So I hope that, you know, you consciously put and include the gender dimension or gender lens when you design your research, when you work on, making it part of what is a key principle when you're doing it. Yeah. Now, we know that, you know, the benefit of digital employment for women includes, you know, that with these skills, that will facilitate them into the entry to the labor market, which now, you know, more and more are requiring that basic skill of knowing how to use the ICT technology. Yeah, we have to also ensure that women are safe both online and offline. We have to ensure that that this digital economy benefits women and society and can be seen at the outset that it is directly benefiting them and not just saying and putting them in the vulnerable groups, because women are actually asset to the country, that they are actually agent of change in development. So, you know, the empowerment of women and empowering women to help steer the future of technology and gender equality should be a principle in our development program in this country. And that should be a principle in the, as we implement the My Digital. So closing the digital skills gender gap means increasing women and girls' digital skills that involve early, varied, and sustainable and sustained exposure to digital technologies. Now, when we talk about technologies, when we talk about this access to technology, we know that there are still a lot of challenges for our in our country. Yeah, and some of those challenges obviously are listed in the blueprint, in one of the thrusts, to make sure that we have an inclusive society that is able to benefit from the digital platform available in this country. But the challenge now is to also look at how we are doing this, how much resources are being put into this. And that is when we look or bring gender responsive budgeting in this process. Yeah. So gender responsive budgeting addresses the needs and interests of different groups of men and women, girls and boys, and aim to allocate government resources in an equitable way so that the most pressing needs of individuals and groups are satisfied and met. And the mechanism of gender responsive budgeting is to ensure that the collection and allocation of public resources is carried out in ways that are more effective and contribute to advance gender equality and women's empowerment. And that means creating an environment through selection, yeah, that reflects an understanding of the realities of women's life and addresses the issues that they face. Now, when we look at the area of digital skills development that are needed for women and girls, yeah, we need to establish incentive targets and quota, which I think you all have addressed that or have been talking about that, have been put into your research. Yeah. Supporting engaging experience. I know, for example, we have many projects about this where you go and help PPR women to have access and be trained in digital marketing, for example. Yeah. But how are these sustained? How are you looking at the impact over time? Yeah. I think these are research that you want, or I mean, please excuse my ignorance if you have been doing that, but it may not be shared publicly. Yeah, Malaysia has actually done some kind of study about women's participation using the digital platform, and way back in 2000 or late 1990s, early 2000, when there was a project of the United Nations University on telemarketing and how women are participating in that and how it actually helps women. So how do we then, bring that kind of experience and the finding to now in terms of how we formulate and implement, formulate a policy and implement the programs and its activities. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking that maybe one of the ideas for action as a follow-up to this seminar is to undertake a research of gender audit on the My Digital Blueprint and come up with a proposal that ensure its implementation is gender responsive and empowering to women. And in all this, data collection is important in making the analysis, and we need disaggregated data, and to also make sure that we have the intersectionality within men and women, age, location, level of education, access to technology, their income, and so on. Yeah. Look at what are the present major roles and activities of women and men in the digital economy. What is the theory of change? Where do we want to go, or what do we want women to get from participating and benefiting from the digital economy? And how would this benefit the country as a whole And how do we make this a reality? Yeah? What resource, human, financial, material, are available to both women and men? Do both women and men have access to and control over these resources? How will the implementation of strategies correspond to the different needs and potential of women and men? What implementing strategies will provide opportunities for greater or more significant participation by women and benefit for women? What measures have been taken to ensure gender-responsive implementation of the blueprint? Have resources been allocated to equipping personnel with specific gender skills and knowledge? Is the composition and mandate of the steering committee or equivalent structure appropriate to support and monitor women's participation at all levels of the blueprint implementation? Do we have that? How many women participate? Do they understand what needs to be done, or how we want to make sure that we achieve the gender equality within our digital economy? Yeah? Because we must understand also and able to defend the perception that, you know, women are going to take, with gender equality, women are going to take away men's opportunity. It is not. Because men and women and men are together. Yeah. It's like, you know, in Malay, your sayap, you know, both are equal. You know, you fly together. And if you are balanced, then you fly smoothly. Yeah. So, think about what are the gender responsive processes and impact indicators to be used in monitoring achievement and outcome of this blueprint. In achieving the objective, the intent, the vision, you know, of this digital, my digital, yeah. It is said that beyond achieving and meeting our wawasan kesaksamaan, agenda 2030, you know, we also want to make sure that, you know, Malaysia fly high. Malaysia fly high. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you well, yeah.
Is it time to stop?
Yes.
You have 2 more minutes, Wansui.
Okay, thank you. So I was just saying that I wanted to conclude this with saying that we want to fly high also internationally with achieving the SDGs that we commit. Yeah, there's 17 SDGs, but those that are directly related to digital economy is SDG 1, no poverty, SDG 4, equality education, SDG 5, achieving gender equality and women's empowerment, SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, SDG 9, build resilient industry, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation, SDG 10, reduce inequality within and among countries. And last but not least, I want to mention also about the Generation Equality Forum and the Action Coalition, where women's access to technology, women's participation in innovation and transformative economies are topics that are covered by the Action Coalition. The Paris Generation Equality Forum is taking place virtually from 29th of June to July 2nd. So for those of you who are interested, do register and join this forum and consider making and applying to be one of the commitment makers to make a difference in achieving gender equality and women's empowerment, a path to achieve SDG in Malaysia. And I see that the interesting paper presentation listed in the program. I hope, you know, I'm able to also see the, you know, get those presentation, because they are very interesting. And thank you again for this opportunity. And I hope this sharing and this is useful for this seminar. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sri Husnaini Sofjan, for an interesting talk on women empowerment, a transformative pathway for making real progress.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now continue our evening session with the paper presentations on digital economy. Once again, we hope that each presenter introduce themselves briefly before beginning presentations. So without further ado, I would like to invite our first representative for this evening to present their paper on entrepreneurial opportunity recognition and entrepreneurial success, the mediating role of innovation capability, a conceptual study by Mr. Talib Saleh Talib and Associate Professor Nur Rashida Hashim from University Utara Malaysia. Please welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And very good. Have you heard me? My voice is clear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
May I share my slides?
Yes, you may share your screen.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Talib Asti Talib, PhD candidate at UUM. Actually, I'm proud to be here and to participate in the seminar. I would like to thank the organizer, ILK, and the three universities, UKM, UITM, and UUM, my university. And also allow me to thank my supervisor, Associate Prof. Dr. Nur Rashida bint Hashim, who encouraged me to participate in this seminar. Today, allow me to present my paper entitled Entrepreneurial Opportunity Recognition and Entrepreneurial Success, the Mediating Role of Innovation Capability, a Conceptual Study. First of all, this paper concentrates on MSMEs. Actually, as common knowledge, that MSMEs play a crucial part in the world's economic performance. It represented around 90% of organizations and businesses around the world, and also 70% of employment. In addition, they have significant source of jobs and sustained technological lead on the market. And also it have major effect on countries' development performance. So it enhances social stability and financial well-being. This is around the world. And also in Malaysia, SMEs contribute to the economy. They have clear contribution, as mentioned in the annual report of SME Corp in 2019. SMEs in Malaysia have large percentage of business. In Malaysia, it's around 98.5%, and also a high percentage in employment, 66%. However, the contribution to GDP is considered low. It is 38%. Moreover, In the last year, and also as we know, coronavirus disease outbreak, COVID-19, impacted national and global economics, and also in Malaysia, it's affected businesses. Many businesses lose it, and many businesses closes. So all governments and agencies thinking about how to help the businesses and micro, small business and medium also to recovery and survive in this situation. As a result of this COVID pandemic, global GDP is expected to decline between 2.3% to 4.8%. In this paper, in the introduction and to conclude the problem, as mentioned in the paper that government in Malaysia support business, support MSMEs, and despite this several program and money that the government spends, services are given to improve MSMEs, the performance is still not encouraging. So the GDP is affected from 2001 to 2019 and fluctuated. And also only 38% of national GDP in Malaysia. In addition, the failure percentage is 60% of businesses fail in Malaysia. So this leads us to study and focus on entrepreneurial success and how these businesses need to survive, to growth, to success. And this study take entrepreneurial opportunity recognition as to provide the opportunity for promotion and creation of new businesses to deliver creative goods or services. So previous studies and literature introduce entrepreneurial opportunity recognition as affecting entrepreneurial success. And it is very important and crucial concept that related to entrepreneurial success. However, the result is shown as a mixed result. And this leads us to use or to introduce a mediator. So this study introduced innovation capability as mediator between entrepreneurial opportunity and entrepreneurial success. And there is no studies used this variable in one framework. And moreover, these concepts are fresh areas and need more debates, especially in Malaysian context. So to conclude, this discussion shows a considerable gap in the literature. So this study proposed a conceptual framework. This framework consists of three main concepts. First one, entrepreneurial success and entrepreneurial opportunity recognition, and lastly, innovation capability. Entrepreneurial success is very crucial because it is the breeze of the life of business around the globe. And to define it, many researchers and literature defined entrepreneurial success in many ways. But the simplest definition of ES and at the small or micro enterprise is the entrepreneur's ability to survive and sustain. There is many definition and many measurement of entrepreneurial success, but this definition used because the study focused on micro and small business. And also entrepreneurial opportunity recognition receive a new potential for profit by looking for information to identify gaps in the market and create strategies business concept to create a new value by founding a new business or developing developing existing business. So there is linking between entrepreneurial success and entrepreneurial opportunity recognition. The importance of innovation capability comes because it is a significant asset of business to survive and success. So previous studies defined innovation capability can as developing and managing current technologies, skills, and expertise required to produce new ones. And also, this appeared that entrepreneurial opportunity recognition and entrepreneurial success are linked together from previous researchers. They claim that finding opportunities of a new business is one of the most critical capability for successful entrepreneur. And researchers confirm that opportunity recognition enhances the performance of young venture and businesses. However, this study introduce and employ innovation capability as mediator because there is a relationship between entrepreneurial opportunity recognition and innovation capability. EOR, entrepreneurial opportunity recognition, may lead to better understanding of a new knowledge or technology for innovation. And also there is a relationship between innovation capability and entrepreneurial success to enable business to explore and exploit a new opportunity for the launch of a new product and meet the needs of the markets. So several studies also introduced innovation capability as mediator, but this study trying to combine three concepts in one conceptual framework. So the objective of this research is to propose conceptual framework that concentrate on the effect of entrepreneurial opportunity recognition on entrepreneurial success in the context of Malaysian MSMEs, and also using innovation capability as mediator between these variables. And this framework or this paper, 4 hypotheses is proposed based on the literature review as it appeared in the conceptual framework. First hypothesis, there is a relationship between entrepreneurial opportunity recognition and innovation capability, or between entrepreneurial opportunity recognition and entrepreneurial success. Second hypothesis, there is a relationship between EOR and innovation capability. Third one, there is significant relationship between innovation capability and entrepreneurial success. And the last one, innovation capability mediates the relationship between EOR and entrepreneurial success. The theory that used in this study is resource-based view. RBV is used as theory to this study. RBV is a familiar theory in business and entrepreneurship. In case of micro, particular, and small business, it is very important and considered suitable for this study because the MSMEs are characterized by competitive and require high human resources skills. As such, survival or success of business and firms is seen to be highly dependent on resource and unique skills. So this study adopted RBV theory. Finally, to conclude, this paper is described as conceptual framework. This paper combined the 3 concepts, important concept, entrepreneurial opportunity recognition toward entrepreneurial success of MSMEs in Malaysia, and use innovation capability as mediator between this relationship. And it is suggested that conceptual framework for this relationship, it is strong to conduct empirical analysis in the future to test the empirical analysis and to find the results of empirical analysis. Thank you.
Okay, our seminar continues with Q&A session with Mr. Talib. Anyone with questions, you may unmute your microphone if you wish to ask. Okay, any further questions may be typed into the chat box for Mr. Talib to answer over there. Thank you very much, Mr. Saleh Talib, for the presentation.
Okay, our next presentation is on business activities for B40 Women Online Business Stage by Wan Nur Shamila Wan Ali, Associate Professor Dr. Zulaiha Ali Osman and Dr. Abu Hanifah Ayub from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Please welcome the representative from our next group to introduce yourself and present your paper.
Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So basically the paper is the continuation of another paper. So can I present the first paper? So tomorrow I'll present this paper. Can I do that?
Yeah, the one entitled activities, which title is that?
Yeah, the activities. So
okay.
I'm going to present the business stage for B40 Women Online Business Entrepreneur.
Okay.
Can I present that one?
Okay.
No, I'm having trouble to share my screen.
They can listen, you know. Is it speaking?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, Shamila, I didn't hear.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, now.
No, okay.
Okay. So as been discussed and explained by Prof. Datin just now, so B40 groups are those whose household income less than 4,850 monthly, and B40 women, those are women who fall in those groups. So what are the characteristics of B40 women? So basically they have low education level. Most of them have low education level and low self-confidence, and they have time limitation due to household commitment, and fighting for basic need due to low incomes. Since government government call for closing the gap between B40 women and M40 group, so venturing into entrepreneurship might be one way for the government calls. So one of the options of venturing into entrepreneurship is online business. So what is online business? Online business is performing business activities via internet platforms such as buying, selling, purchasing, and payment. So report came out in this year, in 2021 by Bernama News. There were 370,000, more than 370,000 business entities registered their business under online category between 1st March until 31st October last year. So why online business become preference? So one of it is because of a cheaper operation cost, since it's doing via online, the elimination of warehousing and employment, and then bigger market coverage and business activities can be done. So as we experience the implementation of MCO and the need to stay at home, it's reported that the use of online purchasing platform increased since the implementation of MCO last year, and the online payment is increasing. Then we move to B40 woman entrepreneur, continuation from B40 woman and online business. So what are the hindrance factor for B40 women venturing into entrepreneurship? Since a government calls for closing the gap, but we still facing low participation from B40 women into entrepreneurship. So what are the factors that hinders them from venturing? So first is a fear of losing government support. Since monthly they receive monthly support from the government, they fear that if they start a new they venture into entrepreneurship, they might lose the government support, and then less effort to upgrade their life, and low awareness and knowledge towards entrepreneurship. So as can be seen there, so Pinkovetskaya said that the most suitable business for women are trade, healthcare, education, and social services. But since we are focusing on online business to the low cost, so the best online business type for B40 women are retailing, drop shipping, trading, service, and product based. So basically, retailing, drop shipping, and trading can be fall into one type of online business. Before venturing into entrepreneurship, they need to be introduced to what are entrepreneurship. So when they are introduced to business stages, they can make a calculated plan during in business stage. So what are business stage? Business stage is the progression of business faces over time. So there are several such researches has been done to date. So so those researchers argued on how many stages should they be in a business. There are some say 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this basically the this is basically several that has been I've been reviewed. So it can be seen that, for example, the Webster in the first and second, Lewis and Neil, they're focusing on the same type of business, which is production, but they argue, for example, Webster said that it should be in three stages, while Lewis said that it should be in 4 stages. So from these literature, I've concluded that there should be 6. Basically, there are not more than 6 stages should be there in a business. It can be concluded into these stages. So this is the description of each stages. First is seed. Seed is the recognition of in the seed stage. What entrepreneur do is recognition of opportunity, decision on launching their business venture, and then assembling resources, development business plan, and securing financial aid. So in the following stage, establishment, the registration of their business, acquiring customer, selling and delivering good or service, marketing and promotion. Then move to growth, generation of enough cash flow and expanding the market. Then in success stage, business is sustainable, and then adoption. They adopt new technologies and exploiting resources for expansion. Then they go into mature stage. In this stage, the growth stage slows down, but to overcome the slow rate of growth, they develop new product and service range and initiation of IPO. And then in the decline stage, so basically not all business can sustain in a mature stage, so they tend to decline in profit, so they jump into decline stage. So in this stage, company cannot adapt to changing circumstances. Then they downsizing the business, and eventually they exit to prevent bigger loss if the profit continues to decline. So what's the difference between the stages proposed by previous researchers to online business? So in the seed stage, basically it's the same, but for women online business, since they have several challenges in establishing their business, they need soft coaching, like training to improve their marketing, and then training to establish business plan, and then they need to have guidance on selecting business type. So in the second stage, which is establishment, the same as other business entities, but for B40 Women Online Business, the need of training on marketing, after they establish the marketing, and then the need of class on selecting delivery method, since they are for example, retailing, so how they are going to deliver their products to the customer. So what is the best delivery method? So they need to attend the classes to choose which is the best, depending on their location and then their availability. So for growth, it's going to be the same. And then for success stage, as business is sustainable, usually business will adopt new technologies and exploitation of resources for expansion. For the difference here is that for other businesses, they are merging, they are growing, they start to recruiting managers to manage their daily operation. But for B40 women online business, since we are focusing on B40 women online business, the business tend to be much more smaller, in size and market penetration. So recruiting managers is not applicable here. So for B40 women online business, it should be hiring the first employee. So in mature state, the growth rates low, development of new product and services. So then for usually in traditional business or in other business, they start to initiate the IPO, but since again, the business size and penetration market is small, so the initiation of IPO is not applicable in this stage for B40 women online business. So the last stage is decline or exit. So when business facing decline in profit and the company cannot adapt to changing circumstances, they tend to downsizing the business as mentioned before and exit to prevent bigger loss. And for B40 women, since the business and market penetration is small, it makes them to able to change for other product or service easier. So it's difficult for them. Difficult for them to enter a decline or exit stage, since they can change their product or service like that, easier like that. So, so this is the online business stage for B40 women. From the 6 stages, as mentioned, the exit and decline stage is not really applicable for B40 women. So it's going to be removed from online business stage for B40 women. So there are 5 stages, which are seed, establishment, growth, success, and mature. So moving to the discussion. So the first stage, which is the seed stage for B40 online business, consume a longer time compared to other business because of they have lack of confidence, low knowledge and technology literacy. So in the first stage, they need the training to boost their confidence level, technology readiness, and selecting their best business. So there are more time needed to prepare B40 women venturing into online business. So for conclusion, as mentioned, for women, the best suited type of business is online. And then for B40 women, the most suitable online business type is service and retail that done via online platform due to their demographic and background. So basically there are 6 stages that usually business will pass through over time, but for a B40 woman online business, we conclude it can be into 5 stages, which are seed, establishment, growth, success, and mature. That's all from me.
Our seminar continues with a Q&A session.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. I've got one question. Now, have you ever thought of looking into lean startup method in introducing online businesses to women in the B40 category?
I'm sorry, lean startup method?
Yeah, lean startup method. Can you go to slides number?
No, because.
Yeah.
This one?
My first question, okay, I got a few questions. My first question, did you look at lean startup method in suggesting online businesses to B40 women? Yes or no? My first question.
No, I didn't.
You did not look at it. Okay, I think it's worthwhile to look at lean startup method. Sebab kalau you tengok balik, go back to slide number 9. Now, dalam slide number 9, you letak the what happened in what you wrote there is women enable them to change to other product or services. Now, normally in lean startup method, they can do that during the startup. Maknanya di pivot. So when they pivot, they do not have to start another business at the same time. Dalam Lean Startup Method, what is recommended is that the pivoting occurs during the startup stage. So in that way, you can help to minimize the time spent on the initial part, because you talk about seed funding. Seed is quite slow actually. Now it is slow because I think if you look at Lean Startup Method, it will be much faster. Kalau I'm not sure about most business school, for example, sekarang dah banyak recommended penggunaan Lean Startup Method. And I know this method should be very viable to women entrepreneurs. I hope one know you may want to have a look at what Eric Rice has suggested on Lean Startup Method. And I'm sure it is very viable. Now, when I was in UMK, we reported to the Ministry of Higher Education, we have about 371 students involved in this startup their business in the year 2017. The ministry was not happy because they say UMK should be higher than that. So Datin Paduka Amisa came to investigate. And then we realized that there were about 65 students. Most of them are female students who start up their businesses online, and they were using the Lean Startup Method. Okay, and we found out that the total sales of these 65 students were 5 times higher than the students who were doing businesses the traditional way. And we found out about that because we brought in MDEC to track our IP address. We found out that there were about 65 IP addresses who were very active and they belonged to the student. So we called them up. To our surprise, they were involved in online businesses, which we never know, right? And their total sale was 4 times. So bila kita tanya dia orang, what method do you use? Most of them were using the Lean Startup Method. They pivot, they start up, they pivot, they start up, they pivot, until they found the most suitable business model for them to proceed. This is very interesting because I think in your research, because you were still looking for business stages. Jadi kalau you tengok balik, the decline stage, the exit stage tu, when you talk about trying to change to other business, you're talking about pivoting. So when you talk about pivoting, the Lean Startup Method suggested pivoting to take place earlier. In that case, they can move faster, they can proceed to the next stage. That is my suggestion lah, ya. Wan Shamila, I don't have any question, cuma I nak recommend supaya tengok lah. Satu lagi, bila you talk about you punya business stages ni, I'm sure these are non-tech kan? These are non-tech venture, betul tak?
Non-tech, yeah.
Yeah, okay, non-tech venture. Because basically women in B40, they are non-tech venture. Of course, okay, tak apa. I think that's quite clear lah kalau non-tech venture. I have no further question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, any further question may be typed into the chat box for our presenters to answer. Thank you to our esteemed presenter for a remarkable presentation.
Okay, moving on to our next presentation on machine learning models for classification of retain and exit status of B40 income group in Malaysia by Prof. Azuraliza Abu Bakar, Prof. Datin Dr. Norizan Abdul Razak, and Nur Shaza Afika Sahal from University Kebangsaan, Malaysia. Please welcome representative from our next group for your presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. And good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Can. Okay. My name is Azura Liza Abu Bakar, and my team is Prof. Datin Norizan Abdul Razak and Noshaza Afika. What I'm going to present today is an exploratory research on the use of machine learning models for classification of risk to retain and potential to exit status of B40 income group in Malaysia. So this is actually my first attempt of working together with Prof. Datin Norizan Abdul Razak. So I remember, I think about 1.5 years ago, so we have a discussion of try to embark data analytics in research regarding B40 women and B40 societies and all the nation well-being. So this is part of our first attempt of working together on data analytics. So basically, my research is mainly involved in an area called living analytics. Yeah, let me introduce the definition of living analytics. Is combining analytic research and development in areas involving the people and national well-being to enhance the high-impact society in Malaysia. It's a data-intensive technologies that will enable the public to get solutions and products according to personal needs, profile, and activities, collaborating with the public sectors in conducting an analytical study of data by fully utilizing the analytics advantages. So introduction of our research, the government has taken various initiatives to look into the well-being of the B40 and how this group can improve living and a potential exit from the income level. This project is an exploratory project of data analytics where the data are collected from a research a project conducted by Prof. Datin Norizan groups called 360 Degree Family Development Study. Let me read about 360 Family Development Study. The 360 Degree project aims to identify the extent to which the need for quality of life empowerment of the B40 group in facing the fourth industrial revolution. The survey to study and see the relationship between aspects such as health status, quality, and living needs of the B40 group, cultivating science literacy, evaluating the effectiveness of government programs in empowering the economy, empowering the B40 group through the application of technology and module development in producing a Kamila family. It's a religious family. The survey aims to set up a new holistic initiative in empowering the B40 group to digital technology, knowledge, and skill in science and technology, spiritual needs in line with the needs of the technology platform and development of the Kamila family. So this exploratory project extract the data from this survey, and we employed data analytics, specifically machine learning algorithms, to extract important knowledge from the data. But however, the data is a small number of data. Since this is an exploratory research, we try to see how what kind of knowledge that we can extract from the data. It's a total of 158 survey data collected from 2 B40 areas. 5 critical areas considered in the survey include in the data from the survey include family health and quality of life, use of ICT, government aids program, inculturation of science, and family belief in religion. Okay. So the objective of this project is to start to explore the use of predictive modeling for classification of risk to retain or potential to exit status of B40 group based on the 360-degree family development study conducted towards this group. Development of the model adopts the methodology, standard data analytics methodology called CRIPS-DM, which consists of 4 main phases as stated in the slide. So this is basically illustrates the methodology, the important methodology of data analytics, which started with business understanding. Business understanding is the process where I'm working with Prof. Datin Norizan, understanding the data, understanding the business problems, what we are looking from the data, what kind of business goals that we can achieve from the data. After that, we look into the data and we try to understand the data and the data understanding phase. Definitely, the data come from survey data, which consists of many parameters. So we need to perform data preparation that fit the data into the data analytics algorithms. Okay, so the next steps after the data has been prepared, we will perform the modeling using several machine learning algorithms to extract important information or per se information, important knowledge patterns from the data that we can evaluate, and we can perform knowledge analysis for the next level of decision making. So this is the standard data mining CRIPS-DM data analytics methodology. About the business goal and business understanding, the first steps of the methodology, this study business analytic goals is to determine the factors involved in assessing the risk of people to retain in the B40 groups or the potential to exit from the B40 income group. So we outline our business question as what are the factors from the 5 domains that contribute to the risk to retain and the potential to exit of B40 income group, and what are the patterns of the B40 groups in the 360 family development study. Regarding the data, like I mentioned earlier, the data source comes from the 360-degree family development survey on B40 group, conducted by a group led by Prof. Datin Norizan. It contains a small data set actually, but a high dimension data, which is 158 data with 76 attributes. So for machine learning, this is quite a challenge because we have a small sample but large dimension data to handle. A small sample, usually machine learning works with a very large sample. There are 5 domains, like I mentioned earlier. For each domain come from the survey, family health and quality of life domains contains of 15 attributes. ICT usage domain contain 15 attributes. Government's AIDS program, 12 attributes. Inculturation of science, 15 attributes. And family belief, 15 attributes. So there are about 76 attributes. So these are basically the, let me enlarge a little bit. Okay. This is basically the questions in the survey about IT usage, life quality, government aid, inculturation of science, and family belief. This is the continuation of the attributes. Altogether is 76 attributes. So we pre-process this data. We prepared the data that suit to data analytics, which the details I will not present here. And about the model development steps, we employed decision tree. The decision tree is a flowchart like tree, which learns the data and extract the decision tree as the knowledge representation from the data. The important features of decision tree is to find the most important attributes that give the most information, knowledge, or most informative attributes from the data. Basically, it depends totally from the data that it looks, the machine learning learns. Okay, so let's see the result from how machine learning, how decision tree learns the 158 data with 76 attributes. Definitely during data preparation, we have reduced the attributes. Some of attributes has been combined because there are slides. The survey come from the each attributes contributes to Likert scale from 1 to 5. So we combine it and we calculate some mean values before we fit into the machine learning algorithms. Okay. So these are the knowledge that we extract, discovered from decision tree model. There are many more, but this is some that importance that I shared with you. Okay, definitely there are more knowledge extracted. The decision tree model that we use here is the random tree rules, which has a 96.17% of accuracy. Accuracy here meaning that the model able to predict the test data correctly for 96%. Okay, this is considered high accuracy for the model. So these are the knowledge that or the pattern extracted for potential exit classification. Okay, so this is a kind of rules that extracted from the algorithms, from the methods. Okay, and these are the description of the rules that we outlined. Okay, for example, for the first rules, we got the good inculturation of science give potential exit of B40 income group, although the quality of life and health is low. In this study, with the only 158 data, decision tree extract the most important attributes for this data is actually the inculturation of science. Theoretically, it means that inculturation of science, the quality of data on the inculturation of science give a very high content of information compared to other factors. Okay, that's the reason why decision tree extract good inculturation of science as the main important attribute, as the main attribute for this particular data set. Okay. Other description is good inculturation of science, high quality of life, good family belief will ensure potential exit of B40 income group. And another one is low inculturation of science, reliant to government aid, but high usage of ICT also ensure potential exit of B40 income group. Another knowledge, low inculturation of science, but self-reliant by means not relying on government aid also can ensure potential exit of B40 income group. I would like to remind that these results is totally depends on the data that are given to the algorithms. So it might give some conflict kind of knowledge, and for further study, we need to have more data, and also the way of we are preparing the data to see more comprehensive understanding on the data to itself. So this is for the case of potential exit, meaning that with these rules, we can make many decisions for strategic decision for the top management or top government. And also we can lead to a certain specific initiative for certain groups that we can predict that has potential to exit from the group. Okay, so from this knowledge, there are many initiative or decision making can be made. This is another knowledge regarding the retained risk, okay? The risk to retain in B40 groups, okay? From the same model, yeah, I extract the knowledge that related to retained risk. So among the description are here, high inculturation of science and good quality of life and health, but low family belief causes the person to retain in B40 income group. So this is very interesting findings from the decision tree. This rule indicate the importance of values in family belief and faith towards religion. So this is quite, I'm not sure, I'm not expert in B40, but I think this is quite some significant knowledge, that patterns that we got from a small number of data. Okay, another one is a low inculturation of science and use of ICT and high reliance to government aids program causes the person to retain in B40. This rule indicate the importance to instill science culture and use of ICT in order to exit from the B40 income group. Okay, so this is another knowledge. And then next, this is how our random forest systems, yeah, produce the knowledge. This is the output of the, this is actually the output of the programs of the systems. And from here, I actually translated into these rules, okay? So from this tree, okay? So this is a random forest tree. Random forest is more advanced algorithm compared to a simple decision tree. But if I employ a simple, a basic decision tree, okay, they give us a very basic tree, where in this tree, we can see that the family belief, yeah, is not exactly the is the main, yeah, is the main features also, okay, but the most important features is the inculturation of science. This is just another simple decision tree that I employed beside the random forest, okay. So my findings, yeah, our findings is, this is the interpretation of our finding, yeah, the decision tree, the decision tree does not show the health and economic factors are important, yeah. So this may be because of the data given. However, the main thing to look for is in terms of economics. If the person prosperity increase, then he has the potential to exit from the B40 groups. In terms of the life quality, a good quality of life, where being able to do activities and being free from social problems has potential to exit from the B40 groups. And also the decision tree shows, like I mentioned earlier, the inculturation of science is the most critical factors, which theoretically in machine learning, it means that this inculturation of science indicates high information gain value in the algorithm suite itself. Health and economic factors are not the primary factors in determining the well-being of the B40 people. But again, I would like to remind that this is based on only on this small survey data. And then based on the decision tree shown to the experts, the mean culture of science give a positive impact on the potential to exit. If a person has a positive cultivating of science and a positive quality of life and a strong economy, then it is likely that he has potential to exit. This is also a finding. Not receiving government aid does not indicate the potential to exit status. Okay. However, if he receives government aids and know how to get help, it is potential to exit B40. I also forgot this point because this is our finding. It's a year ago project, all right? The meaning of the government aid here is not only in terms of money, but the government supports the people that can help them find a steady income. All right. The limitation of this project definitely is a small data size. The small and insufficient size of data features its diversity, resulting in the decision tree algorithm maybe not producing quality knowledge. But it's also important to bear in mind that it's not only big data, but if we have small data, but the value of the small data is very, very high value, so we can also get a very good analytical model. Okay, it's the quality of the data that matters rather than we have a very big data. Another limitation is the less varied data. Due to the limited amount of the data, the mean value for science culture is the most varied one compared to other domains. So this is also other limitation that I think I already mentioned earlier. And this is the conclusion. So in this study, we we develop a pilot project employing machine learning to classify the retain and exit status of the B40 group. Our challenge is to deal with low sample size and high dimension survey item data to discover significant domains with high classification accuracy. We employed random forest and decision tree. The random forest gives the highest accuracy among others. The result revealed that the incarceration of science is the essential factor to determine the potential to exit or the risk to retain status of the B40 group. Finally, we did develop a prototype where this is the interface of our prototype, being developed by our students, okay, where the person can give the data, they input all the specific data, and this system will diagnose whether he has potential to exit or he may return in the group with all the information he put in the system. So I think with that, I end my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, our seminar continues with Q&A session with Prof. Azura Liza. So anyone with questions, you may unmute your microphone.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
Ya, saya Hassan. Quite interesting presentation. What you suggested or what you have presented today is in line with our experience in Pantai Timur a few years ago, where there were 4 universities involved in developing a community di Besut. The government provide funding, okay, government fund to build houses, and these houses were built by polytechnics students and staff di kawasan Besut. And when the houses were completed, the 4 universities came in: UMK, UMT, UNISA, UMT. Now, the role of each university is to focus on the community and the family of the recipient of those houses, because we feel that we cannot just give them the fish, we also got to teach them how to fish, right? So one group came in from UMK. We realized that we need to provide them with the economic impetus. So what we did was we trained the husband on the basic of business and entrepreneurship, because we want them to be self-reliant and move to the next stage. UMT came in they were using NLP method. So they were trying to motivate, they were motivating the parents as well as the children. And I remember UMP also came in, they provide free tuition to the children of these families with special focus on creating their interest towards science education. Because these 4 universities were having difficulty in getting candidates for their science program. So that was what we did at the time. I think UNISA came in with the religious and food. So this is in line with what you have presented today. Now, it's just that when there was a change in government, the project was stopped, but we did not get the chance to see the results of those projects. It should be very interesting because I think your study sort of like support the project that we did a few years ago. We see the difference. We can see the change, the mindset of the children, the mindset of the family when they go through the program. I remember a group of students who came in from UMT and UNISA. They were giving free tuition. Actually, it's not free; it's paid for by the universities to these children, and you can see the change in the way they think and the way they see things. All right, and we can see that there is some interest from them among the children towards science subjects. So I think we were quite successful to that extent. And I think your studies sort of like put a stamp and say, hey, what we did last time was, although we did not get to see the final result, it tells us that, well, I think that project was quite successful in determining what we want to achieve through the project. So I think it should be very nice if the study could also be more extensive, if you can add in more into your sample. Now, my question is, what is the viable number of sample size so that you can get a very good business analytic, or what do you call it, from your decision tree diagram? I know 150 something is sufficient. So what is the right number?
I cannot answer the question of what is the right number, like I mentioned earlier.
The most viable number.
Yeah, because this comes from the survey. So really we survey, we cannot, we cannot get like 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000.
Okay.
Data. So for data analytics, actually, maybe I can say that 5,000.
5,000, eh?
Yeah, but the more,
it's really very interesting. I think that you can, kalau 5,000, it can be a nationwide study. It's very interesting. We can expand this out and look at this the entire ecosystem yang ada dalam setup. Because I know the idea is to bring them. In fact, that project that we created was to bring the B40 out from that category. So we provide them everything. We provide shelter. We provide free because some of the children did not go to school. They couldn't afford to send their children to school, and even the shelter, the houses were not sufficient for them, even not livable. So when we came in, we really assist them. But unfortunately, I moved out in 2018, so I never get the chance to see what happened to these families that received those aid in terms of houses being built to them. It should be very interesting kalau dapat tengok balik. Sebab itu kawasan satu Idris Yusof mungkin boleh consult dia, boleh tengok kalau you can extend the study also to that area. It should be very interesting.
Maybe the Prof. Datin has anything to comment, because this project is actually initially conducted by Prof. Datin and groups. I got the data and do the analytics.
I understand.
The survey, okay. The extensive survey done by Prof. Datin, maybe regarding the sample size, regarding the group kan, sasaran dia tu.
In social science, the most important thing is that to have homogeneity in terms of the sampling. So the 190 over samples are actually from AIM, Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia, the women involved who are actually taking loan from AIM, and they are all B40s. And we found out there are certain characteristics. And when Prof. Azura actually churned the data from her data analytic, it seems that there are certain criteria that we can use in order to help the women entrepreneurs to exit from the B40 group. We also don't want to have a group of women to depend solely on the government aid. They need to also believe in the technology and also to be able to have the sign and culturations of sign in their families. But the one thing that is disturbing at that time is that all of them are Malays and all of them are women. If we can have other ethnic group, I think it will be a better analysis for Prof. Azura.
Yeah, And kalau you talk about other ethnic groups, it become homogeneity, it become heterogeneity. Sebenarnya you punya sampling punya method kena ubah sikit lah. I think it can be done, because this is a very good study. Because when we started dekat Besut dulu, we were a bit unsure whether the project can be successful or not. But then we realized that halfway through, we started to see the changes in the way the family thinks. They realized that they want to be out from the B40 punya. In fact, all of them are Malays lah dekat Besut tu. Dan I think kalau the non-Malays ni, dia tak nak government aid, kalau tak silap saya. Because they have dia punya kongsi yang bantu dia dan sebagainya. Some of them refuse to take up the government aid. I think that was why one time bila tekun dia mula buka pada non-bumi tu, yang banyak mohon is the Indian, not the Chinese. It should be very interesting to look into this matter.
Interesting finding as such that we should also look at in terms of the Chinese community, the way how they train their entrepreneurs. They have their yayasan, they have their foundation, and this foundation is very strong. Same thing with the mamak group, meaning yang buka kedai mamak, adi maju, kedai-kedai yang buat what you call roti canai and things like that. So they have a foundation that assists them to open at one place. And if it's doing well, then they will be independent. If it's not doing well, they will close it and then they will move to another place. So
I was brought up in the Chinese community, Latin. I learned about business from my Chinese neighbors. So, and that's how my interest toward entrepreneurship comes into play. It is from my Chinese neighbor. Hari-hari tolong tolak kita, tolak dia pergi jual dan sebagainya. And the way they teach entrepreneurship is very, very down to earth. Very down to earth. Hari-hari saya dah belajar tentang cash flow. Saya dah belajar tentang record sale dan sebagainya, which memang tak ada pada usahawan Melayu.
True, from young, Prof, from very young, they have already educated their family members about business.
Dia ajar, daripada dia dilahirkan di kedai, dibesarkan di kedai, akhirnya dia mati pun di kedai. Basically, that's where the interest comes in. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
All right. Wan Yusra, macam mana kita? Ada paper lagi ke lepas ni?
Ada, one more presenter.
Okay. The last but not least,
Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Our last presentation this evening is on women entrepreneurship challenges in the digital marketing by Assistant Lecturer Ansam Ali, Associate Professor Dr. Zulaikha Ali Osman and Sabrina Tun from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hello, did you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now today I'm going to talk about digital market and importance of digital market in our world. Also talk about digital market challenges and the common factors of business failure of women entrepreneurs in digital marketing. Today, information communication technology, ICT, has been a big contributor to involving economic and social business sector and country. Recently, with the increased development of ICT, web access and e-commerce has provided unique opportunities for individuals to create business with less cost to market their product or service, which decrease employment. E-business actually play a role in world. It has expanded market reach and lower cost and has enabled to develop and creation of a new digital product and service, where e-commerce platform like Shopify, Ubuy, and online marketplace like Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, Lazada, Shopee in Malaysia have created new business opportunities with no geographic limitation. Because the digital market is used, consumer has become heavily reliant on digital means to reach a product. It provides consumer more information and choice to compare product and price, more choice, convenience, easy way to purchase a product or service. Today, country has becoming aware of importance of adoption ICT, including e-commerce, to improve its adoption success. E-business has become an attempt to ground transaction efficiency and effectiveness in market production and sales of product or service for current and development marketplace through employment of existing and emerging electronic technology. In spite electronic entrepreneurship benefit for country to generate development, it also has a risk if endeavor or is a high risk attempt with high rate of failure. Electronic entrepreneurship is often difficult undertaking as it requires different personal capabilities and high skills about the market and how to make a good decision. Electronic entrepreneurs face multiple risks related to bankrupt, financial, competition, environment, and economic risk. What means digital marketing? In terms of digital marketing, it's aspects that use digital media and platform to sell or advertise product and service using a smartphone or any digital technology like computers. What is the challenges of digital marketing? The digital marketing has many challenges. Most entrepreneurs face these challenges that lead to failure in the first step of digital marketing. Digital marketing unsuccessful in those places where there is no limited access to the internet that make consumer connection is impossible. Because digital marketing is closely related on use internet, it can unsuccessful and on not all it's maybe not successful in a place where is no internet or limited access to internet that make consumer cannot use digital market, or also the who stay in this area cannot start business in digital marketing. Also, digital marketing is different to a traditional market. Digital market more complex marketing compared with the traditional. It need more skill, and also marketers struggle to reach consumer and achieve consumer satisfaction. In digital market, marketers should stay alone and contract with consumer. But in traditional marketing, this is a problem. This is not faced. Professional digital market industry need more and more digital specialized and constantly required to develop technical skill to continue the journey. In digital marketing, the company have to use many skill technical and should be to face the competition challenges. Company should designing and creation and development website that requires specialists and high qualified experts. In addition, is required to make this website attractive and designed to get attention of consumer and excitement. The site must be eligible to provide the consumer with additional value. Digital marketing because there's most of online platform like Amazon, Shopee is provide feedback to customer. Digital market may be face challenges with online word of mouth and review. Online review can improve customer buying decisions through feedback or rating. That means electronic word of mouth communication can have major impact on information adoption for customer behavior, purchase intention, and improve brand loyalty, and it's increased trusted and on this company or this brand. Also, at the same time, have negative side, or maybe sometimes is present challenges, because negative electronic of correspondence may have dire implication for companies, resulting in damaged reputation, negative consumer attitude, and resulting decrease in sales. Online marketing need to operate within uncertain and multifaceted legal system. Now with increase the related risk related to cybercrime and digital security incident, the digital company has additional work in develop coherent strategy for digital privacy and security. They have to implement privacy and security risk management framework to protect consumer information. Actually, the most challenges is digital marketing has a high competition. In digital marketing, almost anything and everything can end up being a competition for company. Also, companies are required to follow digital marketing trend that increase element conventional marketing and promote plans through any kind of digital media to face high capable competitor, keep up with rapidly changed technology and response to emerging social and cultural demand. Women entrepreneurship. In recent years, the development of entrepreneurship and its contribution to nation economy and employment showed there is a growth of women entrepreneurs in digital marketing. Women entrepreneurs mean the women or group of women who initiate or organize and operate business enterprise online. What is the importance of women entrepreneurship? Women entrepreneurs play very important role in business and also in industry. Study proved that women entrepreneurship as mechanism not only contribute to economic growth, but also has play many important roles, like help in poverty elevate, improve confidence, creativity, and innovation of women. At the same time, it creates employment opportunities for others. In spite that there is a rise number of women entrepreneurships, but successful women entrepreneurs are still low. because the changing trend which creates a new obstacle for a new venture, women venture. As any entrepreneur in part of the women world, the Malaysian women entrepreneurs are facing many challenges, which are obstacles that confront their successful. The most important constraint the growth of women entrepreneurs, especially at the initial stage of a new business, start business, which had led up to their business failure. Most common factor is one issue of low education and training. Most women, these women has low education, or there's they didn't have any training in business and marketing. Second factors, lacking knowledge about market trend and market size. What that mean? Because of nuance and ambiguity of online marketing, some women entrepreneurs who own business, they often complain about the lack of demand for their product. Why this? Because there's lack of support to target the right market and select product market fit. In addition, they are facing in their business high competition from both small and large entrepreneurs. That high competition has been reducing their market share and thereby reducing their profit. Another factor, there is lack of knowledge and scale marketing strategy. What that mean? That mean is the women entrepreneurs, mostly women entrepreneurs, has lack knowledge and skill about a new marketing strategy, and they don't have skill to understand consumer and disregarding user need. Another factors, limited access to financial resource and lack of capital. Most women entrepreneurs face problem at early stage in getting the capital to start the business from bank and financial resource. There's lack of awareness of ICT because the digital market needs skill, technical skill. Most current women entrepreneurs from poverty. This part of women has lack to use technology, also use marketing, online marketing. The last factors is a problem gender. For women entrepreneurs, the society, most societies see there a critically important role in household than entrepreneurship. That means there is a lack of support from family to start business or to continue business. Although prior research has highlighted the most challenges to identify opportunities for entrepreneurship, but there is still a little attention has paid to use information technology in developing entrepreneurial action. Also, successful entrepreneurship needs powerful support and knowledge to overcome these gaps and these challenges. Entrepreneurial should realize the change in consumer attitude by making digital and social media an essential and important and integral component of their business market plan. Thank you.
Is there any question to Assistant Lecturer Asam Ali?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. I got one short comment. I think there is a misconception with regard to lack of capital for business startup. I noticed that this is a problem anywhere. When you ask them what is your barrier to starting a business, it is always capital, it's always money. I think what we need to make the entrepreneurs realize, or would-be entrepreneurs realize, that the biggest capital that they need to start a business is themselves, not the money. All right? Now, I know one lady who is very successful. Yeah, I know one lady who is a very successful entrepreneur. She is mentoring quite a number of young entrepreneurs from among even male and female. Now, her rule of thumb is you never start a business with more than 2,000 ringgit. If you can start, you start with 500 ringgit. Start small, but think big. See, the problem is when most consultants that train entrepreneurs, when they teach them to prepare the business plan, from what I see is they always start with an amount which requires them to get the funding from somewhere else. Now they could have started with a small saving, start small but think big, and then they start to grow the business as their sales improve. I think this is the misconception. See, when you wait until you have like a certain amount that when you develop your business plan, you can never start, or you will have to wait longer to start. But given the fact that if you realize that the biggest capital that you need is yourself, I think they can start immediately, and slowly they realize that it's they themselves who is very important in the success of their business. It's not the money, or it's not what. I've seen a lot of successful entrepreneurs from among the ladies who started with a small amount of capital, and they become very successful later on. It is they themselves that we need to focus on. They must have this confidence in themselves, support from the families. I think they can be very successful. There was a study which I conducted many years ago, which from that study I found out that I was looking at tech-based companies. I was trying to find out what is the barrier. Most of the respondents said that financing is an issue. So I went to interview. I found out that it is an issue not because of the money is not there. The money is there. There is a lot of funding coming in from the government. The money is not there because it becomes an issue because of the fact that the company that were assessing, the bank that were assessing their business plan do not understand the technology. So I think same here, I suspect there are a lot of funding available for B40's entrepreneurs. It's just that they do not know how to access it. And I think this is where we need to tell them to start. You don't have to have a big capital to start their business. Remember, you look at Muhammad Yunus, the Grameen Bank. Okay, the amount that he gave is quite small. Yeah, quite small, and to the extent that it is sufficient for them to start to support the family. And later on, when the business grows, and this is where they can start expanding their business. I mean, this is my 2 cents opinion. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you. Just asking, Prof. Hassan, are you advising for B40 women entrepreneurship is focusing a lot on the personality or mindsetting on entrepreneur?
Okay. When I was in Kelantan, we brought in MDEC. When we brought in MDEC, we also asked MDEC to train our lecturers to train women entrepreneurs in the rural part of Kelantan, especially in online digital business. That was my involvement, my first time involvement when I was in Kelantan. So I attended the course provided by MDEC, and we also asked MDEC to look into our entrepreneurship program at UMK, because in UMK, each student will have to attend 4 classes on entrepreneurship. And we found out that our curriculum do not have the element of digital in there. So MDEC, we brought in MDEC to review our curriculum, and MDEC provide further input. And we add in every courses the element of digital entrepreneurship. And also, I think MDEC, together with KPT, we started the initiative, we call it the Digital Entrepreneurship Initiative. I'm also in the think tank. And we train lecturers in that area. So I think it should be very interesting if you can bring these lecturers who are well trained into the area of digital entrepreneurship to assist your initiative to train women. I think there are about 100 something being trained by MDEC basically, and they're certified from the UK institution. Should bring them in and assist you in your endeavor. I so far, I've never been involved directly because my area is more towards techpreneur. I'm being trained to techpreneur. In fact, Kamaruzzaman Jahidi is one of my mentee. I was his mentor for his project, his business. So my side is in the area, and I have a few students, women, female students, whom I mentored as well. So basically, I noticed that the women becomes better entrepreneur in the sense that they are more, how shall I say, they are more cautious when it comes to cash flow. They're more careful. They don't spend unnecessarily compared to the men. I think that's why they can become a better and more successful entrepreneur. And that is why Muhammad Yunus empower women, because to him, and women are better when it comes to managing the cash flow for the business than men. That's my comment, Dr. Zul. I tak ada any direct experience because I was so busy dekat UMK, so I never get the chance to really go down and sit with the women entrepreneurs. Yeah, but we were involved in a number of projects lah dekat Southern Thailand, where we send in students to work with women in the rural area. So we help them to improve their businesses. The Southern Thailand, Philippines, and also a few other projects. I went in to provide support to these students.
Okay, Prof. Actually, my concern is when you're talking about the elements, important elements, even though it's a finance not very, just asking if you have any information about the elements, which one is at the ranking high. And so in the personality is more high, than technology itself or marketing, So there is a lot of things that which one that based your experience, looking at the, woman entrepreneurship, that we need to focus a lot because all involved with training actually. Yeah. Personality also training, marketing also training.
If you ask me, I think I would prefer to put capital at the bottom. I would prefer to put number 1 is the person. Number 2, as you say, viability of the business. Number 3 is marketing. Marketing is very important. And most Malay entrepreneurs tend to downplay marketing. Marketing is so important because no sales means how are they going to finance how going to pay for the workers' salary and everything. So sales is very important. And marketing is not only about sales, it is also about branding of the company and everything. Tadi I mentioned about exit strategy. Actually, when we prepare our entrepreneurs for startup, we should also ask them to prepare for exit. Exit not in the way, negative way. Exit in the sense that when there are opportunity for them to sell off the business, sell it off, and with that money, open up some other form of businesses. I think we should start preparing them for that. I know some ladies in Kelantan are into that. They sort of like they start up a business, successful, they sell it off, and they go into another form of business, and they continue on to another form of businesses. In other, there is no emotional attachment to their business. They're willing to sell it off if there are better offer coming in for the business. They sell it off, lock, stock, and barrel. With that money, they start up another business. In other countries, they already focus on producing serial entrepreneurs, but in our country, to us, entrepreneurship is a way to move up from poverty, especially among the B40. But perhaps we can also add into the awareness to them that it's not just about getting out of poverty, it's also about wealth creation for them. So they become more motivated rather than, I don't know, because I don't like that you're moving them out of poverty. It's just like, sekolah dapat poverty. I will always stress about wealth creation. This is about wealth creation. Bukan saja keluar from poverty, it also move your family to the next level. That is my opinion lah. I think Dr. Zhu, maybe we can discuss further because time dah limited kan. Should be very interesting, and I'm willing to share lah my thought, my experience on how to move further. I like this research on digital marketing.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you to our esteemed presenter for the presentation.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of our first day on Seminar Digital Economy. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank all of you for participating virtually in Seminar on Digital Economy 2021. It has been a pleasure learning and sharing information with all of you. Before we end our seminar today, we would be most grateful if you could provide feedback by completing our evaluation form. A link to the evaluation form is available in the chat box, or you may also scan the QR code on the screen, which will direct you straight to our evaluation page. Meanwhile, may I also ask our dear guests and participants to turn on our cameras for photography session. Our technical team will take some few snapshots. So groom up and smile, everyone. Technical team can count 1, 2, 3. So everyone can be ready.
Sorry, kamera saya ada problem.
Huh?
Gambar kot. Saya punya kamera ada problems.
Oh.
Technical issue.
Okay.
Anyway,
screen saja.
Ambil gambar nama saya tu lah.
Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. Smile semua. 1, 2, 3. Okay. One last picture. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, everyone. So don't forget to please fill in our evaluation forms. We hope that everyone will be joining us again tomorrow for more interesting presentations on digital economy. Till then, don't forget to practice the SOPs to safeguard against COVID-19. Stay safe, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good evening.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Salam, thank you.